God made the world. He made it right. He spoke the word, and there was light. The sun by day.
One morning after Sunday service, I sat in the coffee hour yammering about 9-year-old me's favorite topic, whatever Bill Nye had just covered the night before. This particular Sunday, I was rambling about evolution, a concept that blew my mind at the time. Well, I don't think that makes much sense, Wiley. You should stay away from programs like that. My heart sunk to look around and see a room full of faces nodding in agreement. The content of the channel Creation Today snaps me right back to this moment. Founded in 2007, Creation Today is a non-profit online ministry that was made to spread young Earth creationism. Now, what is that? Well, it's the belief that the events of the book of Genesis are meant to be taken literally. This means that in their interpretation of history, the Earth is roughly 6,000 years old. At some point, a great flood decimated the world, and humanity began with modern humans, Adam and Eve, who lived at the same time as the dinosaurs. There are several notable personas in the organization, but the two most prevalent for the YouTube channel are Eric Hovind, the charismatic man who directs all their interviews, and Paul Thomas, their resident expert on the issue of dinosaurs. While they're central to the group and its message, these two don't have all that much of a parasocial connection with the community itself. This sort of structure actually makes a lot of sense for something like an online ministry. When you're in church, sure, the priest leads the congregation, but the objective of Christianity isn't to form a relationship with a person. The goal is to form a relationship with God. And that's exactly the aim of most people watching Creation Today's content. On any given video, the comments are likely to be full of supportive Christian viewers, praising the channel as a beacon of truth. In addition to this, you'll usually find at least one or two staunch atheists, only commenting to mock and deride the ministry's outlandish beliefs. One would expect that a part of the internet with such varying participants would lead to more complex discourse, but I've actually found the opposite to be true. YouTube comment section structure is built for short communication with the creator, rather than drawn-out debates and conversations between commenters. This is reflected well in the fact that YouTube has a comment reply limit of 500 comments. You can compare this to more discourse-centric platforms such as Reddit, which have no cap on the number of replies a post can get. But in an age where platforms like YouTube house such large amounts of information, how do people stay so committed to these fringe schools of thought? To understand this better, we have to look at the actual arguments being put forth by the organization. A core belief of young Earth creationists is that man and dinosaur were created on the same day, meaning they lived alongside each other. To support this, many young Earth creationists, including the resident dinosaur expert Paul Thomas, argue that the Hebrew word tanin, translated in the Bible as dragon, should be replaced with the word dinosaur. Now, when you actually read the parts of the Bible where dragons are mentioned, they clearly don't match up anatomically with any dinosaur known to modern science. So why even come to this conclusion? Well, the answer is simple: confirmation bias. When you go looking for proof of something you already believe, you're likely to find it. They even state their pre-belief bias pretty clearly in the same video where they posit the dragon theory.
Love dinosaurs. So we're interpreting the evidence starting from our presupposition that the Bible is true.
Yes!
But still, being an Episcopalian myself, I feel like we need to approach this with a certain level of empathy. After all, the idea there's a cosmic entity who created a perfect world just for you is an extremely comforting thought. We see Creation Today emphasize this idea throughout their content, but especially in this clip.
Christianity actually answers the question. Since the time of Lyell, Hutton, when you replace Genesis with evolution, we are no longer a special, unique creation. We're one variation of ape related to the chimps and ultimately to rats and to fish and worms and cabbage. So, what is your purpose in life?
When you take God out of the picture, you're forced to grapple with uncomfortable existential concepts like purpose or inherent meaning. It's no wonder that people opt for the largely unchanging and cosmically comforting doctrine of Christianity. That being said, it's still entirely possible for our current understanding of science and Christian faith to coexist. back as far as the Dark Ages, biblical scholars were already considering the possibility that parts of the Bible were metaphorical. This is in direct contrast with the creationist assertion that modern science and evolution warped our interpretation of Genesis. It's wonderful when people find a community and a faith that enriches their lives, but groups like this are still problematic as their poor scientific practices and misinformation create an unhealthy environment where critical thinking is discouraged and you're made to search for evidence instead of answers.
Or global reigns. So all would know, God made a bow and placed it in the sky. Since Noah's day, it's there to say that God will never lie.